Hey, what's up everyone? Matt Wolf here. As we've talked a lot about lately, we've actually taken a new direction with our business, and this new direction is very much free content focused. So we've kind of made that decision to stop selling information, stop selling content, and instead just make it freely available on the blog and through the podcast and through YouTube and all of our various free platforms that are out there. Now, with this comes a lot of new systems that we had to work out and get dialed in, and of course we're still dialing them in, but I feel like we've got a pretty good system in place to manage all of our content, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. I wanted to share our sort of in-depth content marketing system that we've worked out, and it really just uses two specific tools. It uses Trello, which you can see right here, and it uses Google Drive or Google Sheets. Okay, so those are the two tools that we use to keep on top of our content marketing. And I thought I'd quickly give you a rundown of our systems to make sure our content marketing just keeps on cranking along and gets promoted and gets traffic to it and continues to ramp up our business. So the first piece is our blog editorial calendar. This is how we keep up with what content is going to go on the blog, when it's going to go on the blog, the type of content, who's supposed to do it, all that kind of stuff. All right. So as you can see, we've got multiple Trello. I don't know. I think these are called stacks in Trello. This whole thing is a Trello board. These are called stacks. And that is what we've got here. So we've got a few different stacks. We've got the article and video ideas stack. This is where I'm just constantly throwing out ideas for content that I want to create. We've got our podcast episode stack. These are episodes that we're going to be recording but haven't recorded yet. Then we've got our written/recorded stack. These are either podcast episodes that have already been recorded, or they are blog posts that have already been written. And then we've got our editing/graphics stack. So basically the next piece of content that is up to be worked on is kind of in the editing and graphics section. That means we're working on a featured image for it. We're doing another pass on it for grammar and any sort of editing. And then once I actually put it into WordPress and it's scheduled to go live on a specific date, it gets dragged over to the scheduled tab there. Then we've got our published/promotion tab. Once a card ends up on this tab, that means it's live on the blog and it's time to start promoting it. And then we've got our all tasks complete tab stack over here. And this is all the stuff for the current month. Once the month is up, then I archive these cards that are in this stack here. So let me do a more in-depth breakdown of how this whole thing works. Now, first off, you'll notice all these different colors. You'll see yellow, you'll see red, you see blue, you see green. All right, so what this means is yellow is new content ideas. That's what the yellow stands for. If I hover over it, you can actually see it says new content idea. So this is content that hasn't been created yet. It's nowhere to be found. It's just an idea, something that we want to create eventually. All right, the red means it's a video. So red tabs mean it's video content that will be going on our blog and YouTube and Vimeo and our various other, video platforms that are out there. So yellow means new idea. Red means that it's a video. Blue is actually podcast content. So you can see if I hover over it, that's podcast episode. And then green means it's existing content. So we're going to be doing a lot of repurposing of a lot of our existing content that we've created over time, updating it and getting it on the blog, because we've never released a lot of it publicly. It was previously only made available for paid customers. So a lot of it we're reworking it to add to our blog. So green is existing content, blue podcast, yellow new content, red is video. So that's just kind of how our color coding system works. So the sort of flow when we decide to create a new piece of content is I would come here and I would click add a card. Okay, so let's say I want to write a blog post about how to optimize a Facebook ad, just for example. I would come here and put how to optimize a Facebook ad. Okay, and then I'd click add so that card is now there. I would click into the card, and this would be a new content idea. I don't have it already, so I would add the little yellow new content idea tab there. And then any sort of extra notes I would add here into the detailed description. And that would have any details about what I would be talking about on this blog post. So maybe I would say, create lookalike audience, use 3 different images and let Facebook optimize, et cetera, et cetera. And I would just add all of my various little quick optimization tips, and that's there. So when I'm going to write the blog post, I have this kind of for easy reference. Podcast episodes. This is pretty simple. Once we schedule a podcast with somebody, once they're booked in and confirmed for a date, I just make a card. I make a topic. I write topic idea for what I think we're going to talk about. This is obviously subject to change because I never really know where we're going to go with a podcast. But I always put the topic idea of what we're planning on discussing with that guest when they're on our show. Of course, I add my blue podcast label so I can quickly see which things are podcasts. Then once a podcast episode is recorded or a new blog post is written, it gets dragged over into the written/recorded section. So I have a quick overview of what's available. Now, typically once it hits this written/recorded section here, I add a due date. We release content right now on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. So I will add a due date that's a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Podcasts always go live on Wednesdays, and then either a blog post or a video goes live on a Monday or a Friday. So I'll add the date that I'd like it to go live just by clicking there and adding a date there, so I can see at a quick glance when the due date is for this piece of content. As you can see over here, December 22nd, how we manage our blog's content calendar is due December 22nd. I've already added a date to this one. It's a new piece of content, but I'm recording it in person right now as I do this. So that's why that is still there. Once it's done being recorded, I will move it over to the written/recorded section, and then I will start working on it inside of WordPress. I'll move it over to my editing and graphics here as I build out my featured image for it. Once it's all edited, ready to go, I've got it scheduled for tomorrow. I'll drop it into scheduled. Okay, once it goes live, it gets dropped to published, and I can kind of watch the whole life cycle as it goes. All right, so let's just say, for example, this post that I'm working on now was live. It is ready to go. What I'll do is I'll come in here, I will click on this and say it is now live. Clicking on this basically means it's live. It turns this green, showing that it's ready to go. And then what I would do is I've actually built out some pre-made checklists. So I've got a checklist for a video promotion, blog promotion, podcast promotion. This one is going to be a video and a blog post. So I'm going to use my blog post promotion checklist, select that, click add, and now it adds a bunch of steps to this card that I would go through. Push crew notifications, share to our Facebook group, share to our Facebook page, add to meet Edgar, boost our Facebook post, make sure to add our ads into it, send an email broadcast, etc., etc. Make sure to mention it in the weekly profit. Then as I do each of these things, I will simply check them off as they get done. And you can see a nice little progress bar that shows me how much promotion I have left to do on that piece of content. And up here, you can see 4 out of 15 items are done on this piece of content based on what I just checked off, right? So this would go into my publish tab here, and you can see some of these other pieces of content. I still have more promotional items to finish on them. Once all these promotional items are finished, I drop it over to all tasks complete. And at the beginning of next month, I will go into these and I will click the archive button, and it will hide it from the all tasks complete. So that's how I do all of this. Let me make sure I uncheck all of this stuff so I don't confuse myself later. And that's my Trello flow. And what's really cool is Trello has a built-in calendar. So as I schedule this stuff, you can actually look at our full-on calendar and see the various content that goes live and when it's scheduled to go live. Podcasts always go live Wednesday. We're actually booked out a couple months on our podcasts. Blog posts, you can see the green ones are existing content that we've already written that we're reworking for our blog. Yellow is new podcast ideas. And Fridays are kind of free days. I kind of decide at the moment what sort of content I'm going to put out on Fridays, but I can get a quick at-a-glance view of our entire content calendar by clicking on calendar at the top here. And you can see once it crosses it out, it just means that it's actually gone live. All right. So that is how we use Trello to keep up with all of our content. The main idea is I just throw a ton of ideas for content over here. Any ideas I have end up over in this area. The stuff that's been pre-written or is already recorded as a podcast ends up here. The podcast guests that we've scheduled go here. And then from this point on, we just drag it along in the process based on where it is. So right now we have a podcast called the EGP Game Plan, Creating Amazing Value and Building a Platform. That podcast is recorded. Our podcast editor is in the process of working on it. Once he finishes editing it, he's going to come in here, drop it over to scheduled, and I will take over from there after it's scheduled. Blog posts, either myself or Joe or one of our writers is going to start working on it. Once they've got it written, they're going to drop it over here. I'm going to put a due date on it, and we move on from there. Everything just gets dragged and dropped along the way. And then once it actually goes to the published section, then I go in and we click on checklists and I add the most relevant checklist for promotion to that piece of content. All right. So the second piece to our content marketing plan is what I call our content marketing command center. And you can see there's a lot of tabs down at the bottom. This is where we sort of manage our promotion, manage our SEO, keep track of our daily earnings, keep track of the various affiliate offers that we promote, keep track of all the lead magnets that we've created. So there's a lot that we manage from this, and our entire business, our entire content marketing, affiliate marketing, advertising business where we sell advertising on our site. All of this is managed from these two tabs here, the blog editorial calendar and the content marketing command center. So the content marketing command center has a database of every single post that's on our blog. Everything you see here is a piece of content on our blog. We've got the date it was published. We've got the title of the post. We've got the URL of the content. And then I give it a traffic ranking of 0 through 3 based on, it's just kind of a relevant thing. The 3s are the highest trafficked pages on our site. The 0s are basically pieces of content that are getting no traffic right now. So we should probably go through and optimize them and figure out how to get new traffic to them. And I only add a traffic score once it's been on our site for like 3 months because I want to give it time to rank in Google and people to have shared it. So the newest content, the stuff that's gone live within the last few months, I don't even put a traffic rank on it yet because it's too soon to tell how the traffic is going to pan out on it. But you can see I have it set so if there's one that's the traffic is a 0 on it, meaning nobody's visiting that piece of content at all, it turns it red. So that means that I can go through and either optimize it or decide what to do next or delete it, decide if it's even worth staying on the blog. You'll notice over here on the left, there's a lot of pieces of content that are red. Basically, this spreadsheet automatically turns this to a red box once it's more than 6 months old. So after a piece of content's been on our blog for 6 months, this turns red here. And when it turns red, that basically tells me, okay, let's go back through and take a look at all of the optimizations. And this is a fairly new process. You can see there's still a lot of blank space in here, meaning I have a lot of content to still optimize. I've basically optimized our newest content, and I've optimized the stuff that gets the highest traffic to our site. And now I'm going back through and filling in the gaps of every other piece of content on our site. But this will turn red after the content has been live on our site for 6 months. And that just tells me that I need to go back, double check this content, see if there's any new optimizations, new content to link these posts to. That's always a good idea for SEO is go back through your old posts and link your old posts to newer content. So people who discover your old posts can click through and discover your new content. It will help with SEO, that sort of thing. And these are the types of things that I optimize here in our spreadsheet. So you can see these are all sort of yes or no columns. When I go through and do a little audit on each piece of content, these are the things I'm looking for. Does this piece of content link internally? So I want every blog post on our entire site to link to some other blog post on our entire site. There should be relevant stuff with all of our content, so I should be able to link between other blog posts. So this is the first thing I look at when I look at one of these blog posts during an audit. Does this piece of content here link to another blog post on our site somewhere? All right, that's number one. Number two, do I have AdSense installed? We've started earning a little bit of extra income through advertising. Since we stopped selling our info products, we're having to monetize in other ways. AdSense is one of those ways. So I went through and added AdSense to our most recent content and our highest traffic content. And now I'm going through and adding AdSense to the rest of the content. Does it have a lead magnet? Is there a way for somebody to join our list when they read this piece of content? Is there something they can opt in for? That's very important to our business too, is growing our list. Has a link to an affiliate offer, yes or no? I'm going to go through all this content and make sure that pretty much every piece of content on our site links out to some sort of affiliate offer. So this is kind of our monetization here. We have AdSense, we're building our list, and we have affiliate offers. And I want that to be an element on every single piece of content in our site. Is the content loaded into Meet Edgar? Meet Edgar is a tool that republishes our content on social media. So older content kind of gets new life. It'll look through our database of content, and it'll continue to take blog posts and podcast episodes that are a year old and share them again on places like Twitter and Facebook, and sort of keep on recycling old content so it never dies. So whenever we make a new piece of content, we make sure to add it into Meet Edgar. Are the images optimized? Did I add alt tags and title tags to all of my images that are relevant to the keyword that I want the blog post to rank for? Is it Yoast optimized? I've got the Yoast SEO plugin installed on our site. There's a little light on there. Once a blog post is properly optimized for SEO, that light turns green inside the plugin, and I can put a little yes here. So I just kind of follow all the little tips and advice that Yoast SEO gives me to optimize a piece of content, and then I put yes here once it's there. Leave alone, update, or redirect. So as I go through and audit content, I start to decide, what am I going to do with that piece of content? Do I want to go through and update that content, make it more relevant? Do I want to redirect that content to a newer, more relevant blog post? Or do I want to just leave it alone because it's getting good traffic and there's nothing I really need to do to it? Then I've got the last update column. So let's say this blog post here, is it better to focus on just one business? This post is from 2013. That's why it's showing as red. I need to go through and audit it. Let's say that I went through and audited it today, December 21st. So if I change this to 12/21, I just updated it today, it removes the red box from here saying I don't need to look at this. 6 months from now, this box will turn red again and tell me, okay, once again, it's time to come through and audit this piece of content. All right, so that's what the last updated box will do. It will make sure that this stuff doesn't stay red once I've optimized it. Needs updated, it's basically the same thing as if this is red. You'll notice that every box that says yes to it is red over here. Every box that says no to it is white over here. So that just correlates to that there. What lead magnet is there? You can see over here, I've got a tab for does it have a lead magnet? If it has a lead magnet, I make a little note here on what lead magnet it has. And then I've just got any sort of other notes about that specific piece of content that I might find relevant in the future. So this is our content audit page. I know there's a lot of stuff here. Basically, for the most part, what I do is every single day when a new piece of content comes out, I go through and I make sure to optimize it to its fullest as soon as it comes out. And then every day I'm going through and optimizing one or two old posts just to keep up with it. Eventually, all this stuff will be properly optimized, and then new stuff will start to turn red, and it will be an ongoing process of optimization. And we'll continue to make sure our blog stays SEO optimized, and Google will be happy with our content. Okay, so that's the first tab. The second tab is our emails tab. And if you're on our list, you've probably noticed that lately I've been telling people to go join our new list. We've got two mailing lists, our existing mailing list that we've always mailed, and then a new one. We wanted to basically start a fresh new list from scratch, because our old list was getting lower and lower open rates, lower and lower click rates. We wanted to make sure that only people on our list that want to be there are getting emails from us. So we've been encouraging people to move over to our new list, and all of our opt-in forms on our site are using our new list. So anybody who opts in on our blog is getting added to our new list, not our old list that is getting less and less engagement. So if you look at these numbers, you can see these are very low numbers that we're broadcasting to, because I'm only keeping this spreadsheet for our new list. We're actually still broadcasting to our old list, encouraging people to move over, but for our database here, for our Content Marketing Command Center, I'm only paying attention to the numbers on our new list. So as of recording this, it's December 21st. You could see from December 2nd, we were mailing to 284 people. Our last email went out on December 20th, mailing to 1133. So we're having a pretty good rate of growth on this new list. It'll continue to grow. But again, we're starting fresh, and we're getting much, much, much better open and click rates with our brand new fresh list. So in this spreadsheet, it's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. I've got the date that email went out. I've got the subject line that was used for the email, the link that was mentioned in the email. We do our weekly profit emails, which have a ton of links in them, so I just write the word multiple. But whenever we make a new piece of content, I plug in the link that we mailed for that piece of content, whether it's an original piece of original mailing or a resend. So when we make a new blog post, we typically mail about it twice. We'll mail it once on the day the blog post goes live, and then we typically mail about that blog post 3 days later, only to the people who didn't open it the first time. That's why you'll see these numbers on these resends as a little bit lower than the numbers on the original. So that's just so we know, was that the original email or is that the resend to the unopens? We've got how many people it was sent to, how many people opened that email, the open percentage of the email, how many clicks that got, the click percentage of the email, how many unsubscribes it got, the unsubscribe percentage. We started putting some little advertisements and sponsors inside of our emails. Since we're mailing straight to content, what we've been doing is putting a little, image in the bottom of our email saying this email is sponsored by whatever product. We call those Cynic ads. That will make sense when our podcast episode with David Cynic comes out. He was the one who taught us to do that, so we just call him Cynic ads now. He'll probably think that's funny. And then, are there any attributable sales to that email? We haven't actually started tracking how effective these Cynic ads have been. Once we do start tracking how effective these ads have been and we start adding unique tracking codes, then we'll make sure to keep tabs on any sort of attributable sales that came from those emails. And that's our email tab. And the reason I wanted this spreadsheet in here, you might be thinking, well, can't you just go into your email provider and get all this data whenever you want? Yes, you can, but you can't really sort it by best open rates or anything like that. I wanted to be able to do this because I want to see okay, what subject lines are working really good? So I can select everything, go to data, sort range, and I can sort everything by our open percentage, switch it Z to A, so the highest is at the top. And you can see that this email here, are you using this free traffic source? Most people aren't, has had our highest open percentage. 30.79% of the people opened it, and you can see a pretty good click percentage. Inside of Drip, the email autoresponder we use, there's no way for us to sort by open rate or click rate or unsubscribe rate or that sort of thing. And that's why we wanted to move this over to our own spreadsheet so we can sort it however we want, whenever we want. And that's what that's there for. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sort this again by date because I like to, keep track of it by date and then just kind of sort it when I need the data. So as you can see, this is fairly new. We've only been doing this since December 2nd with our Content Marketing Command Center here. But we keep tabs on everything in all of our emails from our brand new list that we just started building, back in the beginning of December. This tab is our daily earnings tab. It may not be super helpful because I'm going to basically blur everything out. This is where you can see our earnings from pretty much all of our various revenue streams for our business right now. So real simple. Up here on the left column, you've got the date. You've got the various things that we earn revenue from: AdSense, Amazon, ThriveCart, Fletcher Method, Teachable, Easy Webinar, ClickFunnels Designer, AppSumo, and Drip. These are pretty much all the places that we're earning revenue outside of our consulting and outside of, percentage partnerships on various products and things like that. These are the revenue streams that are directly attributable to people who read our blog. And every day I just go through and I plug in the number for each product. Over on the right, it totals up how much we've made for each day. Down at the very bottom, it totals up how much we've made for each product. And then I have a little column here for percentage of income because we like to make sure that our income sources are very diversified. We don't want more than 50%. We don't want any single income stream to be more than 50% of our business. So we keep a percentage of income so we can always keep an eye and make sure that nothing ever goes too far above the percentages that we want. And that's what we try to do. Over in the bottom right, which is blurred out right now, is our total revenue number for the month so far. Then on this overview page, again, this is going to be a little blurred out. I don't want to share our total numbers just yet, but down the left-hand side, we're going to have the every single month. The sessions is basically how many visitors we got to our website in any given month. Our list size is the size of our list at the end of the month. The new leads is how many new emails we added during that month. Average open rate, this is just pulling straight from our emails tab. That's the average open rate over the entire month that we got on our list. Average click rate, that's the average click rate we got on the entire month. Our earnings for the month, our average earnings is our earnings per day, basically. So what we averaged in income per day. Earnings per session is basically just how much money we made per visitor that landed on our site. Earnings per lead, how much money we made per person that's on our list in that month. Earnings per open, how much money we made per open that we got in any single month. And earnings per click, how much money we made per click we got on our emails. So this is just a quick overview. We can quickly see every single month whether these various metrics are improving or getting worse, and we'll pretty quickly figure out what our KPIs are, what our key performance indicators are over the month. Month to month, we might find that, okay, the biggest correlation to our earnings is more sessions, more people landing on our blog. So that's the number that we're going to focus on for our KPI is more sessions. Or we might find our income goes up dramatically when our list size goes up, or our income goes up dramatically when our click amount goes up. So we're using this to sort of flesh out what our biggest KPI is that we should focus on. That's the sole reason we have this page, is to figure out the main metric that we should keep our eye on. And then month over month, we're going to make sure that that number improves. And then we've got our affiliate offers tab. This is just where we quickly keep a easy reference of all the products we promote as an affiliate. We've got the product name, the amount the product sells for, our commission on it, the commission percentage, our average payout from that product, whether or not it's an instant payout or not, whether or not it's a recurring product or not. Our actual affiliate link is right here, so I can easily copy it and paste it wherever I want. Our Cynic ad, which I mentioned earlier, we make an ad, we save it over in an app so we can easily grab it, and then any sort of additional notes about that product that we promote. And this is just an easy reference for us here. So when we're writing an email or we're writing a blog post, we could quickly jump over here, grab any sort of relevant affiliate links that we might need. Lead magnets tab is pretty much the same idea. As we build out lead magnets, they go right here. And we just have a little extra data about the lead magnets. So as we make blog posts, we can look at this tab, find the most relevant lead magnet to that blog post that we're writing. And it's just a quick reference for us. So we've got the name of the lead magnet, whether the lead magnet is a general lead magnet, meaning we can use it on pretty much any post, or if it's a specific lead magnet, meaning that it only works for one post. And then if it is a specific lead magnet, the URL that that lead magnet is on. This is a detail of the type of post to use these lead magnets on, whether the lead magnet is totally built, and then any additional info. And that is it. That is our content marketing process. We've got two places that we mess with, our at blog editorial calendar and our content marketing command center, where we keep tabs on everything. And that is our content marketing business and processes in a nutshell. I know it's a lot. There's a lot of details there. What I'd like to do is I'd like to share our spreadsheets with you. I'd like to share our Trello board with you so you can use it in your own area. There should be an opt-in or a slide-in or something that you can grab that, and I'll make that stuff available so you can have access to it. Obviously, our data will be cleared out of it, but all the formulas and functions will be in there so that you can use it for your business if you'd like. All right. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and go build some content businesses. See you guys later.